What's up, everyone? You're listening to Navigating the Ivory Tower, a WPTS podcast. This is about what it's like for Black students who are attending a predominantly white institution, aka a PWI. I'm your host, Jade Davis, and today we have a special guest, Kay Davis. In this episode, we're going to be talking about and exploring what it's like to experience Black fatigue. So, hey, Kay.
Hi.
Thank you so much for joining us today. If you just want to introduce yourselves for anyone that's not familiar with you.
My name is Kaylin Davis, or Kay Davis, a lot of people like to call me. I am a senior here at Pitt. I'm a communications major with a minor of film and media studies with a broadcasting certificate. I am a Spring 24 initiate into Delta Sigma Theta sorority incorporated in the My Team U chapter. That's pretty much it for right now.
All right, perfect. So first of all, I'm just so excited to be getting this podcast back up and running after the summer hiatus, and I'm glad that you're my first guest. I'm so excited to interview on this topic. So my first question that I wanted to delve more into, so the idea of like the term Black fatigue, I know it's a bit newer for a lot of people. They're either not familiar with it or it's something that you see more now on social media. But I'm just curious, what was the first time that you really either heard this term or really like understood it through your experience, whether it was maybe something from when you were younger or even in college?
I think when I first heard this term, like probably in more recent years, because like you said, it's like more of a newer term that people are using. I didn't understand it like to it's a T like definition, but I think you can kind of put context clues together of being like Black and then fatigue, like tired, exhausted kind of like vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think the first time I actually like encountered a feeling of this, I think probably like the second time Trump ran for president, because
Yes.
I think the first time I was kind of like, I was in middle school, like young, not really thinking, but the second time he ran, I was like, oh wow, like I'm like, even though I can't vote, like I'm really paying attention, and I've seen like kind of the energy that he kind of spewed in America. And like the feelings that he gave, the empowerment that he gave certain groups of people, that like I was like, okay, like now I'm seeing like people around me. I think that was the biggest shock of like the people that you think you're close to. I mean, growing up in like suburbia, like your friends, you think like those like they're your friends, like you hang out with them, you see them every day, and then you see them like endorsing a man like Donald Trump,
Right.
or like posting about them, like loving them. And that was like a big shock to me of being like arguing with these people, like, oh, the arguments that I've gotten into.
I can't even imagine.
As like a high schooler, just like not knowing everything, but just knowing enough that like we shouldn't be here like supporting him, or like I mean, I know I wasn't able to like bring myself to ever support him, but like I'm like, why are you supporting him? Like if you say that you like me as a, the fact I'm a Black girl, like I'm supposed to be your friend, why do you support a guy like this? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
and I feel like I would get so exhausted having these arguments, and like being like trying to justify, like they're trying to justify the fact that they like him and this policy and economics and blah blah blah, all these reasons, and it's like, okay, but like what does he stand for? Or like what? Look at the empowerment that he makes certain hate groups.
Oh yeah,
like he gives them like fuel to like be
remember
hateful.
the Proud Boys in that whole situation.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like he gives them so much power to feel like they're on top of the world, like we're back in 1845 or something like that.
Yes.
And like I'm like, don't you see, like this is what he does? And it's like, no, Trump's not this, Trump's like that. I'm like, it doesn't matter what he's saying, it's he knows that he's fueling their agenda.
Right.
And he likes that. They're giving him support because he makes them feel comfortable to do that. Because I feel like he's taken us back so many years, and I feel like I would get in so many arguments and just feel so exhausted of like constantly having to be like, no, this is just, I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like that was the first time I really like his second time running, I was really just like over it. And it just, from there on, it's been a nonstop battle.
Right? Did you really feel this sense of conflict with more of your white friends, or was this also with your Black friends that may have like voted for Trump like during the time, or was it a little bit of a mix?
It was definitely both. I think I can be like, whenever it was my white friends, I would be like, well, growing up, you being you're white, your family, where you come from, like I can understand why you would think that like this is a good thing. You know what I'm saying? Like it probably is a good thing for you as a white person. It probably is a good thing. Like especially if you're like in a more affluent, like I lived in like a more affluent town. So like I can get why you would follow behind a man like this.
Right.
However, my Black friends and family, might I add, it was so much frustration, so much disappointment of being like, how did we grow up the same, live the same like life experiences, and we just be so different, like
Right.
think so differently.
Mhm.
And I'm like, my thing is like, it's such a privilege to be Black and like vote for him or like love him.
Yeah.
You know, like if you really think of how privileged you are, like
Yes.
as a person, I'm like, they don't even see it. Like I could have, my mom was like very adamant of like getting me out of like a bad neighborhood when I was like me and my brothers out of bad neighborhoods when we were kids, and like really wanting us to grow up and like go to school, get our education, like, you know, be something, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think that if my mom didn't do what she did and like make that choice of like getting us out of a bad neighborhood, we could have grown up and been very different people. Like I wouldn't be here today. You know what I'm saying? Like we
Right.
could have, I'm not saying it's a definite, but there's a really high chance that I could have ended up in a different just position in life. And like some of my family, I'm like, you had the same kind of thing. Like you got out and were able to go to a better school, have people behind you, have support, have more money. Like, you know what I'm saying? That you were able
Yeah.
to like set up yourself up for success.
Right.
And instead of you taking that and being like, wow, what a privilege for me to be able to do this, I'm gonna, you know, like I'm gonna root for more Black people to be able to be in my position and try to help people and just like, you know, shine a light on this. Instead, you're like, let me go with the ladder and being like, yeah, if you're not where I am, it's because it's your fault.
Right.
And
It's
you
just like
you're not
Candace
trying hard
Owens
enough. You're lazy.
mentality.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
It completely like, and you just they just went off the deep end to like, instead of understanding their privilege, I don't know what the word is to describe it or the phrase, but it's just so frustrating because I'm just like, you could have ended up like these people, but instead now
Mhm.
you're blaming them for not being where you are, when it's like you're not even the reason you're here. Like
Right.
it's not, you didn't do anything to get here. It's like you happen to have a family member that was able to, or your parents want a different life for you, and you were able to they were able to set you up for success. But like, what about the people that don't have that?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? What if they didn't have the resources that you had, and
Mhm.
now they are where they are, and they want to get out, but like, obviously, systemically, we're not like set up. The world in America isn't set up to help people that look like you
Mhm.
get out of these kind of situations. And instead of you just and knowing that and trying to help those people or trying to give advice, share tips, whatever,
Right.
you're reprimanding them for not being able to get out.
Mind you, it will be the same people that like came from poverty or like came
Yeah.
from these situations that are like perpetuating that, which at least in my opinion, I feel like it comes from even like the idea of like what the white man wants and
Yeah,
everything is just
exactly.
like to like continue this whole idea, this like sociological process of like keeping each other down or not sharing
Right.
advice and tips, like you said.
Exactly.
Because you're not going to learn unless if you see other people that look like you in those positions, whether it's positions of power or if it's even economically just making a lot of
Mhm.
money, or like you said, living in areas that are affluent or even in other areas that are like Black affluent areas and everything,
Mhm.
just not seeing that as much. But it's sad to see. I feel like it's just something that it gets so normalized that once you get to a certain economic point that you're only supposed to either help yourself or like your
Right.
immediate family, but not the community.
And I feel like only Black people, like not only Black people, but a lot of Black people do that. They'll be like, no,
Mhm.
I gotta keep this for myself. Like I gotta keep.
It's the
I'm
gatekeeping. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
This gatekeeping ideology, when it's like
Mhm.
the reason why there's so many years of generational wealth within white people is because they put each other on. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like they share the wealth with their
Even
family.
the idea of something like as simple as like a trust fund.
Yes,
It's
they're
like
like
having that
putting you on. They're
instilled.
not trying to be buried with their money because
Right.
like they want people to know how rich they were when they were alive. Like
Right.
please, nobody cares. Like
Yeah, you can't take the money with you.
you can't. But
No.
like instead of trying to like help people out and, you know, share the knowledge and the wealth, they want to be selfish and be like, well, you're not working hard enough. You're lazy. Like keep those stereotypes against Black people that people been saying about us for years. Instead of trying to defeat the odds, just because you defeat the odds and help other people defeat the odds, you want to separate yourself like you're better than. Like you're literally playing into the white man's hand right there.
Exactly.
That's all.
No, it's insane to me that people have that ideology. Even as like Black people, like how do you not have sympathy for your own people and like what they go through, even if it's not your direct experience? Even someone like me, like you spoke about, I grew up in suburbia, but I can even have sympathy for people that either grew up in a different economic state than I did, or like understand that like there are circumstances where they can't control even just like the idea of being at college. Like that's not always something that's like perpetuated in homes or even just in schools. I know in my school they would always have those fairs where colleges would come in and everything, you would get exposure. Even if at home you lived in a household where maybe your parents didn't go to school, it was still available. But I know for a lot of kids that either grow up in the inner city, sometimes that's not an option or they don't have enough funding and things like that. So it's a really complicated issue, but it's so frustrating where it's like we already have like the theoretical like white man keeping us down. Do we really need to like do that to our own people?
It's just so frustrating.
Like it doesn't make any sense. But no, so more going into the Black fatigue terminology. I don't know if you've ever heard of the author, but her name is Mary Frances Winters. Have you ever heard of her before?
I don't think so.
So she's like the person that's like considered who like coined the term like Black fatigue. And so basically she explains it as Black fatigue being an intergenerational impact of systemic racism on a physical and psychological health level for Black people. And she goes more into, in her book, it's called Black Fatigue, and talks more about how it affects society. She also talks about how it's kind of like you explained, like a doll, like droning, and it affects people in the present based on even things that happened in the past sociologically. And usually we see this going on, whether it's in different economic stances. Like you could either come from money, but also still experience Black fatigue, or you could come from nothing and still go through that. It's like a universal experience for Black people. But so that being said, going to a PWI, when do you think was the first time that you experienced Black fatigue on our campus?
On Pitt's campus? Okay, I feel like I have like, I don't know, because the problem with me is that when the high school that I went to was very like 1% or less Black.
Right.
So like I feel like I've been in this like cycle of like being the minority, obviously, like for a long time, of like extreme being in the minority.
Right.
That I feel like honestly when I got to Pitt, obviously with it being a bigger school, like the amount of Black people that are here and available is like way more than I can ever imagine, even though it is a PWI.
Right.
So like necessarily on this campus, I think that when conversations, I actually do think I have something. I think this last election that just passed,
Yeah.
I feel like it's always an election. Oh my God.
Yes, it's so triggering.
It's so triggering. I think this last election, when it came up about like, obviously like who is everyone voting for?
Right.
Like, you know, obviously Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump. And then, like, the Green Party, obviously, like, I forgot what her name is now. There was that.
Yes, I know who you're
the
talking
one lady
about.
that a lot of people were voting for. And I was like, all right, whatever. But then it's like, what are the reasons why?
Was it Jill Stein? Was that
yeah,
her name?
it's Jill Stein. Oh, my God. This girl that's, like, ran for president, like, 1,000 times. She, yeah. So I think that a lot of people that were in support of, like, Palestine, like pro-Palestine people.
Yes.
Which I'm pro-Palestine, like I get it. I think that became a really big important factor into like who people were voting for this year, which agree, like what's happening in Gaza is freaking disgusting and like horrible, and I'm not in support of that at all. I think I came into like frustrations is that like people are like, either let's vote for Donald Trump or like let's not vote at all, or let's just definitely not vote for Kamala because she's supporting Israel, or like she's involved with this like thing, whatever's happening in Gaza. And I was just like, I think it was awful, because I think when it's time for people to help Black people out when it comes to like voting and like legislation, no one is there.
Right.
No group is there. Like we have to like fend for ourselves to try to get anything done or like whatever. But when it's time to like come together for everything else and other people, whether it be like Jewish people, Palestinians, or whatever, where like what's in the news at that current time, everyone's like, let's do this thing. And I'm like, guys, I understand that what's happening in Gaza is really bad, and that definitely at that time it was like, yes, ceasefire, like whatever we can do to like get that stuff to stop. But what the heck was Donald Trump gonna do for you?
Right, like that's not his main priority. Also, I feel
it wasn't
like
his priority at all. If you think
exactly,
like,
and my thing about it, even with Kamala Harris, I feel like what she was trying to do is make sure that she could almost have like allyship with like both countries, because she knew that if she was like, okay, only like talking or supporting Palestine, that wouldn't help if she's trying to talk to Israel, like, please stop, like, you know, let's like make this conflict better. Because I feel like she's thinking of it like from a political standpoint of like, okay, if the United States has a relationship with both, then we can somehow either come to like a ceasefire or like fix the issue.
Yeah.
But I feel like people were taking that as, oh, well, like, you know, she supports Israel and that's like her stance on it. But I feel like that's not what she was trying to do, and it got misinterpreted. And I feel like a lot of people also just didn't want to even just like, this is just my opinion, but I feel like a lot of people just like, they don't want to see a black woman win.
I
Like,
think that's the frustration. It's like, how on paper she's like thousands and thousands and thousands of times more more, what is the word? More qualified.
Yes.
More qualified than him. And you know, like, she was the vice president. I understand that he won a presidency before, whatever, but like, obviously he got impeached.
He had no political experience really prior, so
yeah, he got impeached. Like, he had such a bad rep. All these different lawsuits. Like, I feel like felon. You know what I'm saying? Yes. All these different things under his belt that are in the cons, and she had all these pros. And I feel like obviously you can hate her for whatever she did when she was governor and this and that, but I'm like, if you look at the two candidates, there was a clear person that should have won and one that shouldn't. And the fact that a lot of people were so against her for like something that like was so like much bigger than just her, or like the fact that like Israel is literally an ally with the United States, that like no matter who's up there, who's the figurehead for the U.S., there was going to be some aid over there, some support to them. Like, there was no way we were going to be like, we're not helping you.
Right.
Let's get, you know, help Gaza, which I wish it could have been like that, but it literally wasn't. That's not even realistic. I think we had to like put on the rational hats, and like no one was willing to do that to like help a broader cause. And then like, it's what, 8 or now almost 9 months until probably like maybe 8.5 months into Donald Trump's presidency, and like so much has gone bad of people being like, I didn't know this was gonna happen. I regret my vote. Oh my God, like, if I would have known this, I would have voted another way. And, well, what do I say? I told you so? And that doesn't make me feel good because I'm in this too.
Yeah, exactly. Even if you didn't vote for Donald Trump, you're still experiencing his presidency, what he has done. You don't get to just be like, I mean, you know, you can like, you know, say, oh, he's not my president, but at the end of the day, whenever like these tariffs are happening or anything that he's doing or taking away DEI, all these things, like you're still going to experience it. So people even saying, I regret my vote. Well, now
I wish you kept it to yourself.
Right. I wish you wouldn't have either voted for Kamala instead of just doing this, but putting us in this predicament. But here we are.
Yeah, and it made me like so, I was so done. Like, I woke up the next day with like some type of hope that like she pulled through in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
And I literally just called my mom and cried.
Yes.
Like, I'm not even joking. I was so exhausted.
I was
devastated. I don't think I've been so devastated.
I don't know how you felt about this, and we'll get into this a little bit later too, but whenever he won the election, I was genuinely terrified to go on our campus. Yes, we do go to a school in the city and it's urban, and we do go to like a more liberal school. However, there definitely are people that, you know, voted for that man. There are people that like feel that way about him, and also like it just like kind of like created this like very toxic environment, especially for like Black students here. Like, I felt very unsafe to like even leave my dorm, and like, you know, I even know that Black students were being harassed on campus after he won the election. Yeah.
I actually, you know what, I'm forgetting. Remember, they had didn't they have Charlie Kirk
here,
right?
Yes.
Oh, I forgot about that. I did not go anywhere near the quad that day.
And of course, it was during the day of like the career, I think it was the career fair.
Yeah, so it was
I
so
was like
busy.
In the area.
Yeah.
And so where I lived in Tower C at the time. So I had to like cross like back where they were. And I just remember like hearing like racial slurs being screamed out. And it's just like, I'm sorry, okay, like, vote for who you want to vote for, but it's like, why do you have to like actively harass me? Like, that is genuinely insane because I'm not doing anything to you. I'm minding my own business, and you're over here harassing me. And I know a friend of mine, actually, I think she either emailed the chancellor and then I think someone from like the DEI department just about what happened, what students were experiencing. No response. And I feel like that just shows even like what's going on even currently at Pitt, that like there isn't a lot of like external support, I would say, through a lot of communities that have power. Like, we have support from people, like say like higher up, that either control some of like the black clubs on campus or FSL and different people like that. But I do feel like sometimes when it comes to like the higher ups, like the chancellor, or like other people, it is really hard to either like obviously get in contact with them, or when things happen, I feel like they don't really take it as seriously because we're not the majority. I feel like it's just like, well, it only affects a small population. But, you know, even for PWI, we do have 8%. And I know there are a lot of schools near us that only have like 3, 2, 1% of black students. So it is more significant than some other schools. So I feel like they need to take that seriously, especially even for students that are international and are black students and everything going on with visas. And I don't know, I understand that they can't really make a political stance, but I do think they can make their students feel supported.
Oh, absolutely. I feel like hate is hate. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's wrong regardless. I feel like if you had one student that's like getting hate, it's like, I feel like if it's a big enough problem in your mind, you would make time for it. And people make time for things that they care about. So that's all I have to say on that.
Exactly. Yep. Absolutely. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is right now. But moving on to my next question. So when it comes to just like you were explaining your experience coming from a background of going to a PWI in high school, coming to a PWI in college, would you say that you were at all, like, I know you were used to that environment, but were you nervous at all going into that? Or did you have any idea of like, oh no, like I'm scared I'm not going to meet any black people, or like where am I going to find my people at? Like what was like that freshman experience for you? Like how did you find your people?
I think that when I came into my tour, I was very much like, okay, I see everyone here. Like I do, even though like obviously there's clearly more than the other, but like I definitely saw people here. I was like black people here that I was like, okay, like I know that if I put in the right time and, you know, look for the right clubs, because obviously Pitt has so many clubs, I was like, I'm gonna be able to find things. And you know, as a high schooler, you say you're gonna do all these things, and then you get here freshman year and you're like, oh shoot, I'm here. You know what I'm saying? Like damn, I'm just a freshman in my dorm. Like the only way they're not gonna come find me. Like I'm gonna have to go find them. So I honestly am always embarrassed as like when I talk about freshman year of how like yes, did I enjoy myself? Did I love it? Yeah, but did I do enough to get into the black community and like make like? No, I didn't. Like I just know point blank, I didn't do enough. I was very nervous. I think because I come from such a like PWI like background because of my high school and middle school and elementary school, I think that I was just almost nervous that I wouldn't fit in with black people, and that's sad.
That's how I felt too.
Isn't that sad?
I was actually scared. Like I literally thought they were gonna like look me up and down and be like, you
like
don't need
no,
to be here.
like I don't have my black. I
like
don't quote unquote my black cards revoked.
Yeah, that's what they're gonna say to me too. Black card revoked and everything. Because I was scared. Because like you said, I came from like a PWI background of like elementary school, middle school, high school, and that's what I was really looking for at college, is like cultivating that black community. Even if I went to a PWI. But I was like nervous even whenever I went to some black clubs or organizations. I was like, are they gonna accept me? Are they gonna like off the bat be like, I could tell that like you haven't been around like a lot of black people or like whatever.
What? I blame my family because they put this fear in me only because like it's always like, okay, you hear how I speak, like it's very much my family. Some of my family calls me Becky.
Oh my gosh.
There's literally part of my family that I've never actually heard call my like regular name. Like
that's crazy.
My name is Kaylin or Kay. Like they always call me Becky.
Oh my God.
And I'm just like used to it now, but I'm like when I was a kid, it used to really mess with me because I'm like, it's not my fault. Like I used to be like fighting for my life. It's not my fault.
It's not your fault that like that's where your parents chose to live. Yeah. And even like my parents and everything, like they were very much like they like cared about the education system. But then sometimes I get mad at them and I'm like, but now when I go into these black environments, people are like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah, why do you sound like that? Yes. Like I always got that. Like, what do you?
They're like, why are you talking like that? And I'm like.
It's like, you think I'm doing it on purpose? Like, this is what naturally comes out of my mouth.
Assimilating is so common in these, like, white spaces, like, feeling like you have to either, like, even just, like, change your voice or different things like that.
Like a code switch.
Exactly, like code switching and everything. So I feel like I've gotten better about it, where I feel like I try to be my authentic self in, like, either space. Yeah. But it is really hard sometimes because even when I sometimes try to be, like, my authentic self, I feel like even in, like, white environments, like, people will be like, why do you talk like that? Or they're like, or what are you saying? Or they're acting like I'm speaking a different language. And I'm like, forget it. Like, I'm done. Or even like around like black people, sometimes they'll be like, oh, like, I feel like you don't talk like that. Or like, you know, they'll just like judge you based off of your background. And I'm like,
God, I'm fighting for my life.
I can't win.
I know. And it's like, again, not my fault. My mom, I literally like my older brothers, or one of my oldest brother was 5 years older than me. So he was able to see like, get a little bit more of like, I don't know, this is so stupid, this conversation, because it's like he got more time in the hood, like,
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
right,
Like, ew, that
yeah.
is so gross to me.
Mhm.
But at the same time, like, it's true, like, he did.
Yeah.
And then I grew up, I did literally kindergarten to 12th grade, all like super white schools, like,
Right.
and I had no way out. Like, what do you want me to do?
What did you want me to do?
Where was I gonna go? Like, my voice wasn't gonna just magically be like
change
different.
or your experiences. Yeah.
But you know what helped me? I would say, because like, again, I would spend time with my family and be like, and they'll be like, yeah, Becky, like, you sound like this and you sound like that, and I'm like, all right, whatever. But like, all right, is it because I quote unquote talk white, or am I just speaking properly with proper grammar?
Like, there's
and,
a
like,
difference.
Yeah, like, are you telling me that like black people can't sound proper and have proper
and that's
grammar?
exactly what the
'Cause
white
now-
man wants you to think.
Exactly, because so now I started spending it like that and being like, you know what? I can't even be mad. Like, I'm not about to sit here and feel bad about the fact that I sound like this. Like,
No.
what does that have to do
Also,
with
it's
me?
based on your education. Even I remember in my school, like, they were very like hard on us about like using slang or like different like grammar issues and stuff, like even since I was a kid. So a lot of that I just like have ingrained in my brain. Even like when people say like, make sure you say like, for example, like K and I, not like K and me, or like something like that. So it's like ingrained in my brain, like my elementary school teacher being like, don't say it that way, or like, you know, like getting in trouble or whatever. So it's like going from those environments, it's low-key kind of traumatic, because it's like you're used to like being either like corrected or things like that. So it's like already ingrained into your brain and like your like biological system in a way. And it's just like when people like come at that and I'm like, you're acting as if I like said, hey mom and dad, I wanted to move to the white suburbs. Like, that's like what I've always wanted for my life. Like,
yes, it's like, you want to get me
it.
out of the hood so I have a better life, but you don't want what comes with it, babe. This is what comes with it. Like,
exactly.
I don't know. I think it definitely took me a few extra years to be like don't be self-conscious about it.
Right.
But you know what? Like, it helps me because I think like I do like I am a swim teacher, but like sometimes I do have to be like a supervisor / manager, so I have to do customer service stuff. And if I'm on the phone, I'm like, girl, you can't judge me over the phone. You don't know who I am. You don't know what I sound like.
Exactly.
You only know what I sound like. Like, you don't know what I look like. So like, until you get to the store and ask for Kaylin, girl, you got her. She's right here.
Right, exactly. And I can't say, I don't know if you've ever been on like a customer service call and they'll be like, are you black? Or they'll just say something like random like that. And I'm just like,
oh my God, no, that's never
like,
happened.
Yes, like I think I was doing like phone banking one time and like this lady, she was like, are you black? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, oh, I didn't think so. And then hung up. I was like, all right, so you're saying black people can't, like, you know, have correct grammar. And I'm like what?
Yeah.
I'm like, these are the stereotypes that, like, literally white people gave us. And, like, even it goes back, even rooted to, like, slavery and everything. Whenever, of course, like, slaves, like, at the time didn't know how to, like, read or write. So, like, literally slave masters would, like, talk to them in broken English.
Yeah,
so, like,
so they would never be educated.
Yes.
The whole
so it's
point
like that goes back to slavery. Like, we're perpetuating things from slavery. Like, that is insane. And it's just, like, I don't know. It's always been strange to me. Like, I will say there are certain, like, black communities and organizations here that, like, you know, are very friendly, have people from different environments, whether it's people from, like, different, like, African countries or the Caribbean and, like, different places. And, like, they're very understanding of everyone's background being different. But there are, like, were definitely some times where I joined, like, some clubs or something, and then, like, they made me feel, like, really weird, where they were like, what are you talking about? Or, like, they would say things about, like, my skin color, being like, oh, we can tell you have white in you. And, like, just, like, weird stuff like that, where I'm just, like, as if I could control my mom as white. Like, what?
Yeah,
like,
it's just like free people from these like shackles of these stereotypes and stuff. Like,
please.
I think you're gonna live such a freer life once you just let it go.
That's what my thing is, like, just being yourself. And it's like, I love the black part of me. Like, I love that identity. Like, I literally have a whole minor in Africana studies. Like, I love this stuff. So it's like when people try to like take that away from people, whether it's like you or me, and like question that is so frustrating. Where it's like we do a lot of work when it comes to that, and it's like people don't see that. They just like talk to you for a couple seconds and they're just like, I already know what I need to know about you. And it's like, I don't know what type of like weird trauma you have from like some like black suburban kid, but like you need to go to therapy. That's like a big thing too. It's like a lot of this could be solved with therapy.
Yes.
But people like choose not to do that, even though we have the UCC and it's like your tuition dollars are already paying for it. So might as well go. Because even with my therapist, I have a black female therapist and she's been so helpful, even with like just the topic of like black fatigue and going through that experience. Because I know even for me, like, it feels emotionally exhausting. Even just being like multiracial, it's really hard going into like white spaces, and sometimes people feeling like they feel too comfortable, or they'll say things either about like, you know, supporting Trump, or they'll say things that are like racist, and then they'll think that I will agree with them because I'm not like fully black, and then I'll just be like, wait, like, what do you mean by that? Because like I'm definitely gonna clock that and be like, that's not okay. Like, what are we saying? What's going on? I'm just not gonna hang out with you. And even me now, like, with having black fatigue and going through that, I don't know about you, I am very selective about the white friends that I have. Like, I kind of give people, like, it's almost like a trial period where I'm like, I'm going to see how you react to certain environments. Even, like, if I bring, like, a lot of my white friends that I do have, they're, like, international students, so they kind of have a different perspective. And sometimes what I'll do is almost like a little test. I'll bring them in either, like, predominantly black environments and kind of see how they react.
Yeah.
Because I've had friends be like, yeah, like, they're having a good time and, like, everything's cool talking to people. And then I've had other friends where they looked, like, terrified. And I'm like, why do you look scared? Like, I'm sorry, but
nobody's gonna do nothing to you, girl.
Exactly. And I have to live just like you and other black people on this campus. We have to go every single day into these classrooms, into these clubs, environments with all white people. Like, we're not walking around like, I'm
only
scared.
person black
like,
in there.
Yes, I've been in so many classes where I've been the only black person, and there's been only 2 or something, and I'm not walking around like scared or like, oh my gosh, I feel like I need to leave or anything like that. It's just we're used to it. But I feel like a lot of white people, especially even like on this campus in the city, they're not used to being in environments like that, so they're so uncomfortable, and they're like, I don't know what to do, oh my gosh, and then they're like freaking out, and I'm like, it's not that serious, we're people, like, we're still human beings, like we're nice people, and I feel like they're just not trying to give that experience like a try. Even
I feel like some people feel like they don't have to, or they shouldn't have to, or maybe they just, their parents never told them how important it is,
right,
to kind of be in diverse spaces. So then they get here and they're like, wow, we have to share our spaces with black people? No way. Like, yeah. I think it's also, like, not to get off topic, but just like like we're both like in Greek organizations.
Yes, that's
like,
actually one of my questions about it. Yes, yeah.
No, I can wait.
No, it's okay. You can say
it's just like,
yeah.
You know how like being the NPHC is like much smaller, so like a lot of times like the like Panhandle IFC, like they'll make them like come to our stuff, and they're like they won't even like participate sometimes. Sometimes they're just like in the corner.
They look
somewhere.
scared. They look terrified.
Yes, they just want their points. Like, 'cause they get like points for coming. Like,
it's so bad.
It's
they
just
didn't
like,
even
girl,
try.
like,
it's like, at
we're
least
fun. Like,
yes, because even today, this is like one thing I will say was great. I was next to this one table, and it was like predominantly white Greek life, and they were asking me about like my letters, because I guess the way they do it for theirs is like they don't have like a chapter name. It's kind of just like their organization is like their organization. Like, it would be like if my organization was just Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated, no like Theta Nu attached to it. So I was like explaining that to them. I was like, it differentiates, especially between like schools and different places. Because like I could say I'm a part of Sigma Gamma Rho and go to like, I don't know, like CMU or something. They'd be like, that's cool, but like, what's your chapter?
What's your
because
chapter?
I don't know
yeah.
what school are you from?
Because
and stuff.
you don't know the specific chapter.
Yeah,
you don't know every chapter that's at every school.
Yeah, like that doesn't make any sense. So I was explaining that, but we were talking more, and we actually have more in common about like some of like our service that we do. So they were like, we should do a collab sometime, and I was like, that is super cool. And I'm like, I think that's a great idea, because also their organization is big on like service, but also like it's more, I like from what I saw, definitely like multiracial. Like I saw some girls that were Middle Eastern and Asian, and then there were a couple white girls and everything, and I think there was one black girl, and it was just like really nice to see that they were trying to like engage and make an effort, because a lot of times, like you said, we'll go to these events with like predominantly white Greek life, and then they'll just like look at us or just not even like try to talk. Oh my god, please share your story. Yes.
Oh, yeah, I just want to shout out organization Alpha Sigma Rho. They're it's an Asian sorority.
Yes,
they were sitting
so
behind
nice.
you. Yeah, we always we always come to each other's stuff, because like we have the similar colors and everything, like things in common. So
they came to our new member presentation.
Yes, like they always come out. Like they're very like, I love them so much. We always try to do collabs and stuff like that, and just like make sure we talk to each other when we see them. So shout out to them. But oh my god, last year Greek week, like we know how you get the Greek week pairings. Like we always they have to attach the MPHC to like 2 other, one IFC and one Panhandle group. So last year we show up, and like we were like, oh, it's so late, like we don't even know what we're doing. We're just like, we know we have to show up. Yeah. So a bunch of us come, and they do the pairings, and like they go and they do the pairings. They hand out envelopes. You know how like they do like bids, and they're always like screaming and stuff. It was kind of like that.
That's hilarious.
It was kind of like that. So they go and hand out the envelopes to like to each org. So you can see who your pairing is with. Right. They don't hand us anything. They never came to us. They never told us anything. We're just standing there. And everyone's opening and screaming and like being so excited because they're paired with them. We're like,
what is going
where's
on?
Ours? Like, who are we paired with? Like, mine, like, we're looking around, and like they never say anything. They never come up to us. So we ask, like, we try to like go to the e-board and like ask them and like what's going on, and they're just like, and we're just like, and
what?
We just leave, and no, we never were like included.
Wait, that's like actually ridiculous, because like my thing is like they try to perpetuate this whole thing like between like all these different like sectors, like Greek unity, you guys should do events together.
Yes.
But then they act like we don't exist.
Like literally.
They literally, like, even when we had, like, so I think I told you this, when we had our FSL conference where it was like all organizations were included. And then Alexis asked, I think it was like a couple questions. She was like, oh, can someone name like one Divine Nine organization? Crickets. Not even like, I was expecting someone to be like, oh, the AKAs or like, you know, whatever. Because like everyone knows them or whatever, even the Deltas and stuff. But crickets. And they were all like grabbing their phone, like trying to look it up real quick. And at that point, I'm like, mind you, just look at our shirts. Like some of our shirts literally say like, okay, she's a Zeta, I'm a poodle, whatever. So it was just insane to me. And the fact that they just didn't know, I'm not saying you have to go know like all nine or anything like that. Because like, okay, I understand that's not your realm, whatever. But the fact that they couldn't tell us one, they were so perplexed by that question. It was insane to me.
Yeah, I mean, like, again, like, I can't say I can name all 5,000 of Panhell and IFC.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like, I can definitely name one.
Yes.
I know I can name one.
Yes.
From each, one from Panhell, one from IFC.
Yes. Even just from, like Bama Rush or, like all
yes,
that
like that
like,
type,
At that point, it's being shoved in our face. Like, we have to know at least one
exactly.
from that.
So, I don't know. I just think that, like, it's always so, like, hard being in those kind of spaces. And I think, you know, like, we always do, like, in the AFLV, like, conference, like, so some of Panhell has to go, MPHC, like, has to go, and we do a trip, and they have them in, I guess, in different places every year. But we went to Indiana this past January. And, like, we honestly had got to a point, like, the sororities, we, like, some of us just sat in a room and was like, you know what? I was like, you know what? If you guys have questions, ask me the questions and I'll answer them the best I can, or the ones that like aren't too insane. Right. And I'll answer them. And they're like, honestly, like, those are the people, they were so curious and they just didn't know. And I'm like, you know what? I'm okay with educating you and letting you know. Like, and from there on, those are the people, like, actually was a frat guy. I don't know what his position in IFC was, but he went and like made a presentation on D9 and gave the presentation like for like IFC. Wow. Like, he went out of his way. That was the first time I was like, no way. Like, he took the initiative. Like, no one told him he had to do that. Like, he completely was like, you know what? Like, you guys are so cool. Like, I know we just didn't. I don't think a lot of people just know about you guys or like ever tried. And I want to make sure you guys are like, no. And so people can come out to your stuff and whatever.
Right.
And he made a whole presentation.
That's amazing.
And I was like, you ate that. Like,
oh my
thanks
gosh,
so much. Like, that was so kind. Like, that's what I love. And it's like, I feel like if we have to, like, we've always, like, as being black individuals, like, we always have to be forced into white spaces, learn their culture, learn their stuff, or whatever. Right. And, like, they never have to do that for us.
They never try.
They never want to do
or
that.
They're never engaged in it and everything. Even, like, I know a couple of those organizations came to the Steel City Step Show last year. And
oh, my God. Girl, let's not.
Like, it's just...
There's stuff that we went to family dinner after it, and the stuff people got back to us that they were saying about us.
Are you serious?
You didn't know?
No. What?
Shut up. Oh my God. So we go to family dinner, right? And they make this announcement, and it was like, they're talking about all this stuff that like people were saying and how it was so wrong. And we're like, what are you talking about? And Alexis was like, oh my God, I forgot to say it. And it literally, like, it turns out that some of the frat guys were saying stuff like, I just came here to see the outfits and like look at them, like sexualizing us basically on stage, and like being really gross and just like
disgusting.
Yeah, like just making these comments and like really weird, nasty stuff people were saying.
No.
And I was like, how disgusting. Don't come.
Right.
Do not come.
Don't come see us if you're going to fetishize us.
Yeah,
That's
be weird.
my thing. Like, don't be weird. And also, it's just like, not to be like dramatic, but like, that stuff just reminds me of things that we've talked about in Africana studies whenever it comes to even just slavery, whenever like people are like overly sexualizing like black women and they see us as like objects and not just as like people and like human beings. And it like does go back to slavery. It goes back to like whenever people had slave masters and they were assaulting their slaves and their enslaved people. And it's just really frustrating because it's like these things they don't realize like these come full circle. Like, yes, like we're not during that era and during that time, but like this is the same thing of like the idea of almost thinking like these people are objects. These are
the
like,
mentality's still there.
Yeah, it's like they're not humans. Like we can speak this way about them, and it's disgusting and it's like frustrating because it's like we're trying to put something on where people can like first of all like learn about the Divine Nine, but also just like even if like that's not your culture, like anything like that, with black culture, just to come see it and like be exposed to it. Like that's not the purpose to like sexualize it. And also like on another note, like I feel like the things that like y'all were wearing, like it's not like
We were wearing pajamas.
Yes, literally. Like that's like my thing. Is like literally everyone was like covered up head to toe, like very like
Mind you,
professional.
it was
like
a step show. They act like it
What?
was like stroll comp and
yeah, like we're
and
there was shake
no
that monkey.
that's what I'm
like,
saying, there
you
was
know
no
what I'm
booty
saying?
shaking.
Like,
There
it's
was
just,
nothing.
like,
It's
none of
literally
that.
stepping is
There's
so
nothing
like
sexual about that. I
not-
promise you.
bro,
Like
the most like unattractive thing you can do,
Is
girl. We're
that-
just up there sweating and
no,
stepping like
literally like grunting and all of that. So it's like
yeah, but then also
What?
that was another thing. There was like
Mhm.
the grunts and stuff. They were like, yeah, like they're just like aggressive. It was so aggressive. I didn't like it. No, that's they were dead saying that like I didn't like it. It was so aggressive and just so like they kept like grunting, like almost like kind of make us out to be like animals. Like,
wait, that's like actually so racist.
It was.
Like, it's
It
racist.
was.
Like
It
calling
was.
us aggressive. That is such a stereotype and like disgusting. And it's like if you're gonna go see something, for example, if I went to go see something from another culture, like if I went to like an Asian sorority or something, saw something, I would like look up what I'm going to see before going.
They don't feel like they have to do stuff
and
like
even if
that.
it's like on TikTok, like you can like look up a step show on TikTok
Yeah.
or whatever, even just like someone like analyzing it, be like, oh, like okay, like this is where it comes from, or like this is like the background, or like even like my sorority having canes, like the amount of looks I got today on the bus because I had a cane with me, like the white people being like, why do you have a cane? Like grandma, like what's going on? And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm not saying you got to know the whole historic meaning behind
Yeah.
it. But it is frustrating where it's like this weird isolating feeling, and like we were talking about with black fatigue, it's just like exhausting having to either explain your culture all the time, it being constantly disrespected when we're trying to like be encouraging and let you in, and then you're gonna act like we're aggressive. We're stomping. I'm sorry, but you're acting like we're like literally cussing someone out up there, like
Yeah.
punching someone in the face, like. What are we talking about? Like that's insane.
It's so wicked. I don't know. I feel like also like black people always have to be like you grew up with your parents being like fix your face, like never being able to
Yeah.
show like what you're thinking in your face, like
Mhm.
having to control it, like
Right.
if you have nothing nice to say, don't say it at all. Like that's kind of
Mhm.
like the mentality I grew up with. So
Yeah.
I feel like if you don't know something, just because it's not weird because
Mhm.
you don't know it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what a lot of people forget. It's like you
Mhm.
don't know what it is, but a lot of other people know what it is. So you don't get to act like it's weird and disgusting and whatever.
Yeah.
Because you don't know it, or you might not quote unquote like it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Plus, you have
saying?
no like reference to like say like, oh, that was bad or that was good. Or, like,
Yeah.
even like some of my white friends that came to my new member presentation and stuff, like they were very like respectful and everything. Like they were like, okay, like this is something I've never experienced. Like even some of my friends told me they looked up some like videos on TikTok to kind of see what it would be like and everything.
Mhm.
And they thought it was like so like amazing and cool. It's like experience something they've never seen before and everything. But I remember like someone told me, I think it was one of my friends, like there was some like, I don't know why this like white girl was there. I don't know. I think she was maybe a friend of someone, but she was like, why were they making weird noises? It was just like when people like call out, like, you know, and I'm just like, all right, before
Yeah.
saying weird noises, like let's like not say that first of all, and second of all, it's like let's get educated. Like let's not. I'm not saying you need to open a whole book, but it's like if you would have opened up TikTok real quick, you would have saw like it's
Yeah.
loud at these new member presentations. Like people are
Yes,
like
people
you
are
know,
saying doing their
yes,
calls and like all that type of stuff. Like things are
Right.
happening.
So it's like before you get thrown. Even I like kind of warned some of my friends. I was like that were coming. I was like, listen. I was like, there are going to be some things that are a little bit different probably to you, but I suggest maybe looking up some of these things like beforehand so you're not like totally startled if someone starts yelling or like
Yeah.
whatever. So you're not like looking around like, what is going on? Like, this is loud or overstimulating, whatever. And I get it, but it's like frustrating where it's like, I don't know. Like, I don't go into other spaces that I'm unfamiliar with being like, that's so weird.
That's
or
what
like,
I'm saying.
you know
Like,
what I'm saying?
we don't like even the fact that you went and you warned them and been like was
Mhm.
like, you know, like they don't do things like that. Like they don't feel
No.
like they have to do things like that. It's like
Mhm.
you're gonna accept whatever they're doing as like the quote unquote normal, and like
Yeah.
you're gonna accept it. I think that like even going back to what I said, we went to AFLV back into January, and like it wasn't just you know D9. It was
Mhm.
like also multicultural, you know, a lot of
Mhm.
Latin sororities and fraternities
Right.
there, and they had a whole different type of thing, you know, like obviously
Mhm.
there are some similarities, but like they had their own thing going, and I was like, all of the D9 is sitting there like cheering them on, like,
Mhm.
oh my god, like y'all are eating, like why y'all can't come with the same energy, like that we
Right.
gave,
That's
like,
my thing is like there's like such a lack of support. And I think a lot of it comes from like we were talking about a lot of lack of education.
mm-hmm.
And I think, especially when it comes to like FSL, I do think it is something that like they should be required to learn about, because it's like you can't come to our shows or our events and be disrespectful.
Don't be.
Because I can't even imagine if like a lot of them were required to come to our new member presentations and like what they would say or like how they would act.
Shut
I
up.
don't think they would know, or even like how things that can be disrespectful, like holding up people's signs, like you cannot do that, or like and people do that stuff, and it's like, or like copying certain sounds, like you cannot do that. It's like very disrespectful. Like, so it's like I feel like they don't have that education, but it's like you guys said, it's not really our job to educate them.
It's not.
And they don't realize that.
It really isn't, and that's what I was saying. The fact that you even like went out and was like, hey, you might want to look things up or whatever. It's like things are gonna be
I didn't have to do
you
it.
did not have to do that at all.
Right.
And again, it goes back to just being like, when we go into your spaces, I understand that there's going to be some things that I don't, maybe that I don't know, or maybe that I'm just like confused about, but I'm also not going to be like, well, that is so stupid or weird. Like, I didn't like that.
Like we don't say anything about the rush days or whatever, where they have like the letter opening thing or whatever.
Yeah, it's like when they're being very screaming and yelling. And
soldiers and sailors. We're not looking at them like, what the
Mind
heck?
you,
like,
I was in my dorm freshman year, and all I hear is all this screaming. I'm like, well, what y'all got going down there? And I'm like, oh, bid day? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
That's like their tradition. That's what they do.
That's what y'all
like,
do,
okay.
because like, I have to know. I had to. I guess I don't know. Being black, we just know things about white people, but like white people don't know nothing about us. I don't know.
Right.
But like, I don't know. Why can't y'all just be like, hey, oh, they got a new member presentation going on. Like they're having a show. Oh, okay. And just move on. Why is he like, why are they doing all that?
Yeah.
You're weird.
Or like, why are they yelling? Or like, what's going on?
Why are they stomping their legs? Like.
It's just so crazy.
Why am I hearing crazy calls?
Whatever happened to inside thoughts? Like, even if you're like confused or being like, what's going on? I'm confused, or this might be a little quote unquote weird to me. Keep it inside your head.
Bro,
because also you're
Google
around
is free.
people that like we're then the majority in that environment. So if you're like saying out loud, like Chad over here, like, bruh, this is so weird. Why are they stomping like that? Like, and then like everyone looking at you like, what?
Like,
what did you say?
See yourself out,
they
sir.
They spent months prepping for this show, and then you're out here being disrespectful towards them. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, but no, I just hope, like, I don't know, maybe there's something that could be done more to, like, either be like, hey, listen up, y'all. If you're going to show up, you need to be respectful or you're getting kicked out, because it's not okay.
I know. I wish there was like a right answer, or like something that would actually work.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Just open your eyes. If you have questions, Google is so much better than like saying something. I feel like we always have a fear of saying something wrong.
Yeah, I agree.
Or doing a wrong thing, and like they just don't have that fear. So like,
even my experience, like before, like I didn't have anyone in my family that was Greek, so like I really had no context. Like I asked so many people in my family, I was like, is there anyone like extended cousin, family that could help me? Like, oh my gosh, like But I was able to do my research on my own, which they talk about a lot and everything, and that was very helpful. We're talking to other people about their experiences, but it's like, why can't they take that like same mentality? Like, just like if I was going into like an unknown environment, and like I said, that was an unknown environment for me, and like here I am, like I became a part of an organization. So it's like, it is possible to do these things. Like, I'm not gonna go to something and then like be outwardly disrespectful, or even sometimes I like to look up things like if it's like there's a certain dress code or there's things they don't want you to wear or whatever at the event. Like I wouldn't want to disrespect someone's culture or something like that, because I have some friends, like even my one friend, she's Turkish and everything, and even like things that I've gone to with her, like I always try to ask her, like, is there something I should wear, like something like, or anything I should know, or anything I could look up before. And I try to do that because I'm trying to be transparent. This is not like a world or something I know about a lot. Exactly. So it's like, I don't want to go in wearing something they're like, girl, what do you have on? Or like, or like, oh, that's really disrespectful.
That's not
to do
appropriate.
That. Or like, what's going on? So it's just common courtesy. But I feel like in our society, even with the era of like Trump, a lot of empathy, understanding, all that's gone away. Like, same thing with DEI, which brings me to like one of my questions about DEI. So obviously, DEI has changed very much so at Pitt, even with like the name of DEI, because they changed it to like the office of the Institutional Engagement and Well-Being, which is interesting because if Jason was on the podcast, I was actually going to ask him about how on Duquesne's website they actually still have it as like DEI, like it's still like a thing. And I know since we're like a public university and then like they're a private university, there's like probably different regulations because we have to follow like federal guidelines. But just that being said, like, how do you think that this is really going to impact like students like coming to Pitt now and everything, even just like with a bigger class? And even like one of the things being like, now that there's a bigger class, of course there's going to be more white students and things like that. I just feel like that all kind of coincides. But what are your thoughts on that? Do you think that like with the changing of DEI that it's really going to have an effect on like the Black Pitt community?
Oh my God. Do you remember when we interviewed that one guy from the Inclusion and Belonging, like whatever?
Yes.
And he was like, nothing's going to change. Like, Pitt. He was like,
He's probably crying now.
he was like, Pitt, like, is really like dedicated to not like, having anything
Mm-hmm.
change. And it was like, I had to take it with a grain of salt because it's like, no matter if that
Yeah.
individual person or like Pitt didn't want things to change, I understand like when someone puts you in, puts you in a place between like a rock and a hard place, like you have to make choices and like decisions
Right.
that you might not want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I do think it's gonna take effect. I think that like our the sixth floor of WPU has there's a lot of people and like resources up there to
Mm-hmm.
help, and like the what's the department that you just named?
Oh
I
yeah,
don't
the
know.
Office of the Institutional Engagement and Wellbeing.
Is that like inclusion?
It's like, okay,
that was
so-
inclusion and belonging,
Okay, so
right?
basically, yeah, it
Okay.
incorporates like a DI, disability, and I feel like there was like another community it lumped in, but basically like a little bit of everything that like is
Yeah.
considered DEI.
Yeah, like okay, so that department, I know that they always were always trying to like help the Black community or just like help
Yeah.
people feel included. They always
Right.
had different events and stuff like that just to like kind of bring things together. I feel like those events and those specific things are going to start disappearing. Like how like there's like the Black Activities Fair and like even the
Yeah.
Black graduation, like
Right. I know that was a big debate. That's something we talked about on our internship about how they
Yeah.
were trying to get rid of a lot of those.
they
at
are trying to
schools.
yeah. I've seen it at other schools. They've gotten rid of it.
Mhm.
And I feel like slowly but surely, like those things are gonna probably start going away, and it's sad
Yes.
because I think those are things that also it just puts like a lot of Black people in the same room.
Yep.
I think that's really good, especially for
Me
freshmen.
too.
Like we talked about, freshmen coming in nervous, not knowing
Yeah.
not knowing anything, like or not knowing anybody, and just wanting to feel closer to other Black people. Like that is so like great to put other Black people in the same room so they can meet each other, join different
Right.
organizations and things like that.
Mhm.
When you take that stuff away, it just again puts another like just wall up
Right.
to like not bring the Black community together, and kind of just like people are just on their own again. Like people come to like college trying to fight that feeling of like never having people, and never being being in a room with people that look like you and having proper representation and such, and you kind of just like end up losing that. And I feel like we
Yeah.
have like when you go to Black events here at Pitt, you see a lot of the same faces, a lot of the same people, because like obviously it's not a lot of us, but at the same time like we kind of have some type of like closeness even with anything that might go down. Like
Oh,
we have some
yeah.
type of
We have
like
some
community unity exactly
Mhm.
here. So like if those things stop happening, you stop putting those people in the same room, new people can't be join it. When
Yeah.
the last people that experienced it graduate, what do you have left?
Right. And they feel forced even to be in white spaces. I even noticed like when we were tabling for FSL and for that fair, I noticed that there were some, of course, like, a mix of students, but there were some Black students walking with maybe some of their white friends.
Yeah.
But I noticed that they seemed a little bit apprehensive to even come up to some of like the Black fraternities and sororities that we have on our campus. And I feel like even it just reminds me of just even what's changing with like DEI and like even like their comfortability, like, oh, what if I try to join this and it's not there anymore? Or like, the school takes it away, or, even just them feeling comfortable like talking to other people. And I don't know, it just feels like very different compared to maybe my freshman year. I feel like I would kind of notice maybe there would be like a little cluster, like a group of Black students, like they found each other. Maybe it was because of the Black Pitt group chat or like other clubs, but
Or like
it's
bridges.
like, yeah, it's just like interesting to me. It's like very different now. It's like they feel totally uncomfortable to be like in those spaces. It could just be like maybe it's a wrong observation. I don't know, but it's just
maybe
something I've
it
like,
could be a little
seen.
bit early. People
Yeah.
are still getting things figured out, but
Right.
I definitely do think there's a bit of a difference between my freshman year and like the freshmen that I do see now.
Right.
I mean, I'm here to tell any freshman that's listening that like, girl, you can talk to us. Stop by the table.
Yes, like we're not scary. Like, and I also think like a lot of them like have watched things like Burning Sands or like all these other
Or like
movies, and it's,
TikToks and like whatever
yeah,
that's like
yeah, and it's like they watch these things and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so scared they're like literally gonna be so evil or like whatever. And it's like,
mean
yes,
stuff, yeah.
and it's sad because it's like all of us are like nice people, and it's like we do good for the community. So it's like really sad that people like come in with these preconceived like notions, which I get it. Like, yeah, it's intimidating, even just being a freshman and like going to these events, not knowing anyone. I get it. Even just remembering me being a freshman myself, but I remember like I went to I think it was the NPHC cookout freshman year, and I remember being so excited to like go up to like all like the D9 orgs, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I want to meet these people because I feel like it was just something I wasn't really exposed to and everything. And like, yeah, I get being intimidated, but I think a lot of it is just kind of understanding that like we're still people.
Exactly.
Like
That's such a big thing.
We
Oh my
are
God.
people. We're humans. Like, yes, we have letters, but that doesn't mean that we're not like friendly people, or that also we don't have lives outside of like Greek life. Like, a lot of us are involved, just like me. Like, I'm here right now at the radio station. I have my own podcast, being the podcast director. Like, we do a lot besides being Greek.
Right.
So that's not our main thing.
Exactly. I'll be on, next take. Like.
Right? No, exactly. Right. No, we all have like our multifaceted areas, and I feel like that's what makes it special. And like one of the reasons why we joined is because like we're so involved. So it makes sense for us to be a part of these other organizations that really uplift Black people. And especially like that we have them on our campus. There's a lot of like PWIs that either don't have these organizations chartered, or they just like aren't active. So I feel like it's just a great thing that a lot of people don't realize, but hopefully soon they kind of like come to the idea that this is like a good thing. But one question I did have, which I found this through research, I thought this was so interesting. So I saw that this upcoming year, with like, of course, the new freshmen coming in, and there was been a lot, but I noticed that between CMU and Pitt, there has been a decrease with their students that are either identified as African American or Hispanic, and there's been more of an increase with Asian and white students on these campuses. But just like based on that and everything, do you think that that's going to really affect some of our Black Pitt organizations, whether it's like, us being a part of D9 organizations or other organizations on campus, and just meeting new people and just making sure they're finding that community?
I do think so. I think people are making the choice to go, like a lot of Black people are making the choice to go HBCU or like just another route in general.
Right.
Then come to a PWI because like a lot of people grew up like us in more, PWI like backgrounds that like, they don't want to keep doing it, experiencing this kind of same life, or just like, the change in administration and just like not feeling safe here, or like they're going to be able to make like friends and like, long-term friends and stuff like that. So I do think that's going to affect the organizations that we have here. I think that like if the numbers aren't there as a whole, the numbers, because like we get such a small fraction of percentages of people that join our organizations of the whole Black community. So it's like if we're only getting fractions and fractions and fractions of that, like if they don't have the overall number, what are we gonna have?
Right. Then it's like, then there's gonna be no one.
There's
gonna
be like nobody eventually. If like God forbid that, I would never want that to actually happen. But like if people don't want to come here, who's gonna join any of the clubs, any of the organizations, anything?
They're not gonna continue.
Yeah, like even like what BAS, like who's gonna be in BAS? If
right.
There's no,
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I would hate for that to happen. I would hate for people. I think that's the thing. It's like, there is one thing that I would say about freshman year, because I completely blame myself for a lot of like not joining things, or not like getting involved in like finding more people earlier. You know how many people like the last 2-3 years that I was like,
where have you been?
Oh my God, if I met you freshman year, girl, we would have been on top of the world.
Right.
So many of my friends, even like class of 2025 that graduated, I'm like, why didn't I discover you earlier? Like, oh my God, I'm going to miss you so much over the summer. I've been like dreading coming back to campus, because I'm like, my
Where
spring 25 people are gone.
Yes.
Like even my spring 24 people, I'm like, oh my God, like guys, you guys are gone. Like where are you?
Right.
So like, I mean, like the graduating classes, like
right.
So like those people, so I'm like, I don't know. I feel like as a freshman, it is, it's really nerve-wracking and scary. You really do have to lay the framework of like going out and joining things, like being a part of things. And honestly, like because the clubs are not that big, especially the Black ones, like girl, you could have whole board positions.
No,
like,
literally within the next year, you can be a sophomore and be a board member. Yes,
like you can
possible.
Really like, it's so easy to move up on that chart and really just like and make the club what you want. Like add your own creative touches to these clubs and really just make them alive and like
or even make your own club.
Yes, you can do that too. Like if you have to go out and do, like, this is not like high school where people are gonna like email your parents and be like, she's not doing anything, you know what I'm saying? Like no, like you're gonna have to go and do the work yourself and like go and join this stuff, and people aren't gonna like, even though we do the tabling, now you guys gotta come up to the table, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna be like, come join my organization. Like I can't do that. You have to come and like show interest, whether that be like literally any club that, because when we do like any of the fairs and stuff where like all the organizations have to put tables out, you have to walk up to the table and ask about them, or look at their signs and read their information so you can see like, is this something that I want to do? Like look at times that they meet and whatever, like that kind of stuff. So like especially as a freshman, I really recommend like people go out and lay that flame work, join these clubs, become something a part of the club, whether that just be a general member or like sometimes like even BAS used to do interns. I don't know if they still do it anymore, but like I was an intern for BAS sophomore year. Like that's like that looks really good. So that then you can become board members by your sophomore or junior year, and like you have something really nice on your resume. And yeah, like you can really make an impact, especially in the Black community, because those people with board positions on certain clubs, like they bring them together to have meetings with like higher ups, and like they ask you for your input and your experience and your own ideas. And then you can start making some change around here. You know what I'm saying? Like, but if you're not here to make the change, girl, ain't nothing gonna change at all.
You gotta get involved. So on that note, is there anything for my last question that you want to add just about like even for freshmen or just like Black Pitt students in general that may be struggling with Black fatigue? Just any tips? I know like you mentioned being involved. That's a great way to kind of combat that and making sure that you have that community, whether it's a Divine Nine organization or if it's another club, like you mentioned BAS. But any advice that you would give incoming freshmen?
Definitely reiterating what I was saying, just like joining things. Absolutely. I think that being here, I guess it could be like already hard enough. I think just like trying to have a community, have a good group of friends, but like, you know how freshmen are, big packs and walking aimlessly in South O. Like once you get your one like time up to doing that, let's find who your real friends are. Like real friends.
Your
like we
friends
talked
are going to
about.
be the same as freshman year.
I am living with the same people I lived with freshman year right now. Living with them.
That is hilarious.
Off campus in an apartment, like I'm living with the exact same people. I think like finding those group of people, and obviously you can always like add, but like find who your people are and like do everything. Experience, do the full college thing. Like go the whole 9 yards. Go out, have fun, go to class, do your work, just do the whole thing that comes with being in college. I think you won't regret it. I think you're going to regret it if you kind of just try to have this like big group of friends and kind of and also don't try to do everything. You can't be in every work. You're not going to make every single meeting. You're not going to be able to do everything. Find what you like. Focus on what you like. What's your major? Okay, what lines with that? Okay, like Jay does the podcast. We both did Next Take. I still do Next Take. It's, a radio show that we do. You know what I'm saying? Like find what you like and do that and go hard with it. That's how you find internships. That's how you find jobs. Like this is what, take the classes that work for you. Like after you get done with your gen eds and you want to take these classes, take the classes that's going to help you further along your career. Like do the full college experience and like forget about these people, man. Like don't worry about
They're probably not going to graduate anyway, so they're going to be on anyway,
like don't worry about like, don't be getting caught in arguments and beefing and all that stuff. I know it's hard, man. I've been biting my tongue so bad.
We talk about this all the time. We deal with it all the time. Yeah, sometimes you just have to like bite your tongue.
You have to just be like, all right, bro, like you're good.
You
yeah, and move on, but like don't get caught up. Don't be in like these like group chats, cursing people out, arguing and all that stuff. It's like it doesn't make.
Don't be on Fizz. That's
girl,
it. That's
delete the app.
Yep, delete the app. Black Pitt. I repeat, delete the app. It will not help you. It will hurt you.
Yes, like you know what I'm saying. Like do the thing, do the whole thing, like the whole college thing, but. I think just like focus on yourself, focus on what you want your future to be.
Yes.
Who do you want? Who do you want you to be? You as a person. Where do you want to go? Because once you know what you do in college is like that sets you up, girl, for your life.
Absolutely.
Like this is no longer high school when people like don't do weird things and people you can forget about it. Like no, like your college career and like your college days, that sounds the foundation for like your rest of your life. So do everything that you want to do, but make sure it's attainable for your life, your time schedule, and just have tons of fun because you know what? I'm a senior and I'm ready to cry and talk about it. Okay, like I can't believe I made it here this far already. I feel like it's gone by so fast, but yeah, I would just say do the damn thing because you don't want to be sitting in your dorm room all alone. And by senior year, they're like, oh, who are your friends and what did you accomplish and what work are you in? You're like, I went to the eatery like every day. Like you know what I'm saying? Like that's it.
You
but
don't get a cord for that, I promise you.
You do not get a cord for that or sitting in the 6th floor all day. Like,
Clock it.
Let's do some things, okay?
Let's get involved, no matter what it is. But no, I would like to thank you, Kate. Thank you so much for being on my podcast. I've been dying to have you as a guest. You will definitely be back soon. And I just wanted to thank listeners for listening to this episode of Navigating the Ivory Tower. Once again, I'm your guest, Jade Davis, and we had Kay Davis on this episode. And this episode was produced by WPTS Radio and edited by Amanda Bobish. Tune in next time to hear more about what it's like to be at a PWI.